What's up, everybody? It's been a minute since I've checked in. There's been a few different reasons. Mainly I have been sick as a dog for the last week or so. I had some friends over earlier than that, which kind of also disrupted my training, and then got really sick and was unable to train. So, it's pretty convenient that I have a home gym, because as you can tell, I'm still not 100% okay. And with the way everyone is at the moment, you don't want to be that guy in a public gym who's, coughing, spluttering, sneezing, and pretty much being gross all over the equipment. So I'm not in isolation mode or anything, because I don't have what you think I have, and if I had one more person to tell me I do, I will lose my shit. But what I wanted to talk about is training while sick, and when are you supposed to do it. So the rule of thumb, I personally believe, is training is supposed to be a thing you do over a long period of time, right? So in the scheme of 10, 20 years of training, a week off the gym is probably not going to do anything bad to you. You're not going to lose gains in a week. You're not going to lose gains in 2 weeks. And if you do lose any gains in 3 or 4 weeks, in all honesty, you'll be able to build them up pretty quickly again. So it's nothing to worry about. Listen to your body. If you feel sick, there's really no point in training through it, because when it comes down to it, the magic of training happens in the rest periods, the periods between training. So if your body's not functioning and not recovering by itself, adding a training stimulus to the mix is definitely not going to help. But then it's what happens when you're in my situation, right now? I would say I am 90% recovered. I can tell I'm not 100% recovered, but I can move around. I can probably start challenging myself because I'm resting, I'm recovering, I'm on the up and up. What do you do then? So you're gonna notice something if you've been sick, right? Your body is pretty good at bouncing back strength-wise, but if you're under the weather, it's only your endurance that gets a little bit hammered. So you'll find that you can hit 85-90% of what you normally can hit for 1 or 2 reps, but when it comes to actual rep work, you'll find that it spikes your blood pressure and gets the heart rate up, and you don't really recover between it. So my solution to this is today I am going to keep my reps really low. I'm just going to use sets of 3. Now the reason why I'm choosing sets of 3 specifically is because for me personally, it means that I'm not going to allow myself to max out and chase some heavy numbers, because a heavy 3 is going to be at about 90% of your 1 rep max anyway. So I'm not going to do anything spectacular, but it's also not enough of a stimulus in regards to muscular endurance that I'm going to struggle to recover in between sets. So I'm going to increase my number of sets and decrease my number of reps in order to just kind of keep my body under control, still give it a little bit of test, build volume through sheer amount of sets rather than testing my work capacity, because that is what suffers generally when you're sick. To add to the matter of what's really annoying about when I personally got sick and I had to stop training for a bit, it was at the peaking point of my plan. So to be precise, it was in week 11. So it's not a great idea. If you're in the volume accumulation phase, you can just kind of restart that and get back into it. It becomes a little bit weird when you're at the peaking phase, where you're supposed to be hitting 1 rep maxes and all that kind of stuff, because I definitely won't be able to peak my lifts now, which is fine. This happens. I'm not training for anything, so it's not the end of the world. However, I still kind of am in that mindset of wanting to move something heavy and challenge myself. So what I'm going to do today, instead of a normal squat, is I'm going to be safety bar squatting. I've never actually used this safety squat bar. This one, I mean, the one I own. I put my clients through it, but because I haven't ever trained at home, I've never had a chance to use it. So I think finding a max 3 on this is going to be super interesting. I think I'm probably going to end up at like 180 kgs-ish. I don't know, maybe way less than that. Maybe I'm overshooting this completely, but it will be interesting to find out. So I'm not egotistically attached to how much I can safety bar squat, whatever. So therefore it's going to be a bit better for me to auto-regulate while I'm sick, because I'm not going to get frustrated at myself if I can only squat half of what I normally could squat. So it's also just mentally, it allows me to alleviate it. Like I said, sticking with sets of 3, and we're just going to start from 60 and we're going to just keep adding plates until I can't do 3, and that's probably when I'm going to call the strength portion of my workout.
It's the only thing slowly stops the ache, but it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus, it never ends. It works its way inside. If the pain goes on, all I've got is everything. All I've got is everything. All I've got is everything. All I've got.
I do kind of worry about how you're supposed to bail out on one of these things. So I'm confident in squatting with a straight bar and just dumping that if I need to, but you're so tangled within the safety squat bar that who knows how that would go. Definitely gonna have to put up safeties, because like I said, I don't actually know what my limit is with this. It might suddenly throw me forwards at a certain weight. I don't know, but it feels good. So what is the point of the SSB bar, the safety squat bar? It was originally designed to help generally older lifters that had busted up their shoulders from years of straight bar, low bar squatting to still be able to squat while their shoulders healed. But it has some other strange benefits. For instance, because of the cambered nature of the bar, the weights are more in line with your midline, which generally means it's easier for you to balance. But also, because of the cambered nature of the bar, your squat tends to be far more vertical, mimicking more of that of a front squat without the inability to load it because of how shit your front rack is. But I wouldn't say it's exactly the same as a front squat, because the bar is still loaded behind the head. So sometimes on the way out of the hole, it can buck you forwards, which is a really good way to develop strong upper back tightness, even if it can lead to a pretty ugly looking max safety squat bar squat. Made it to 4 glorious plates. I think this is probably going to be where I start topping out at about, but I actually felt really good up until now. But that's a funny thing, that thing I was talking about, the safety squat bar tends to buck you at a certain weight. I think it happens about now, so let's see how many more kgs I have in the Definitely feeling heavier. Well, that was challenging, but not impossible. So let's see if I can squeeze out 190. But definitely the jump between 160 and 180 was horrendous. I could definitely feel that change. If you actually just think about commercial gyms, they're actually like pretty gross now that everyone's like germ conscious. And I wouldn't say I'm the most germ-centric phobic person ever. I'm pretty chill with most things. But if there was a place for an epidemic to break out, or a place where most of us would get sick, it's the bloody gym. It's really gross. You're sweating on equipment, you're losing skin, you know, in the knurling. There's all sorts of gross crap happening all the time. I'm not blaming anyone because I think it's probably gross what I do as well. You can say, wipe down the equipment as much as you want, but I feel like that's also just a losing battle. So, I don't know, maybe everyone should just invest in a barbell and some weights and just train in your home for forever. So we never have to deal with this ever again.
If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. I push my fingers into eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops the ache. But it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus, it never ends. It works its way inside.
I've decided that maxing out on a safety squat bar is really bizarre. Pretty much, I think it's easier in some respects. Like, it feels more comfortable than a straight bar. Like, I hate doing heavy threes on a normal squat, a normal back squat. But the grindy sticking point of this thing is horrible. I think I could probably squeeze 200 out for 3, but I'm gonna leave that for another day because 190 is already more than I thought I was gonna be able to do. So I'm gonna move on to some very easy accessories today, nothing too crazy. I'm gonna do some good mornings again with the safety squat bar. Not for any particular reason other than it's already in the squat rack, and this way I just have to strip these plates off. I'll do some Nordic curls and probably some ab wheels and call it a day, because like I said, today is my first day back after having almost 2 weeks of training, so I'm willing to just keep it nice and simple and go out on a win. So for my accessories, I've got a good morning with the safety squat bar. Then we got a Nordic curl, so I got the axle bar behind the rack for me to hook my feet under, and an ab wheel, so that just kind of is a posterior chain builder. You got the lower back, you got the hamstrings, and then you got the core and hip extension to just kind of make that trunk nice and solid. So I'm gonna bust this out probably 8, 10, 10, 3 times. I've actually already done 1 set, so let's do this.
If the pain goes on.
Get creative with your setups when it's in your garage. You can't own every piece of equipment.
Oh my fucking god!
Who just showed up? Oh, now she's all shy. Even though if you go on her Instagram, she's not at all. Well, that's me all done and dusted for this garage gym session and getting back into training after having a lull. So just a reminder, if you are sick, you are injured, don't be afraid to take some time off. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. So give your body the space and time to recover, repair, and then get back after it. Chill.